one day somebody does something unspeakable to someone else, to someone you hardly knew, and you do something about it because you can.
From the Kent Reporter, we get this story here. A newly hired Kent police officer remains the subject of a wrongful death federal civil lawsuit after he shot a man during a mental health crisis inside the man's home in 2022 as a member of the Olathe Police Department in Kansas. Now, a U.S. District Court judge in October 2024 in Kansas denied a motion by attorneys for the city of Olathe to dismiss the suit filed by the mother of the man killed by Officer Connor Thompson. The lawsuit also alleges the Olathe Police Department doesn't adequately train officers to de-escalate crisis situations. Kent Police Chief Rafael Padilla hired Thompson in September of 2024 after he moved to the Seattle area last July, following his resignation from the Olathe Police Department after 5 years on the force. Quote, "Yes, I was aware," Padilla said about the fatal shooting by Thompson in an email response to questions from the Kent Reporter about the hiring. He goes on, "This was something that Officer Thompson informed us of during his background process. We investigated the circumstances of the incident, and we learned that he was cleared of any criminal wrongdoing by the district attorney for Johnson County, Kansas. Now, the district attorney determined that Officer Thompson's use of deadly force was proper under Kansas state law." Quote, "Additionally, the Olathe Police Department conducted an internal investigation of the incident. The department exonerated Officer Thompson of any policy or procedure violations, ruling that his actions were legal, proper, and justified. It's important to note that Olathe police officers wear body-worn cameras, and there is clear video of the entire incident, which makes it clear as to what happened," end quote. Now, the civil lawsuit, however, filed by Maria Varnas, the mother of Brandon Lynch, who was 27, fatally shot in 2022, and her attorneys alleged Thompson recklessly created the situation, resulting in use of excessive and deadly force by continuing to shout at, threaten, and agitate Lynch, a person with known behavioral and mental health symptoms, when no one was in danger. The plaintiff, who's Varnas, further alleged that crisis intervention training teaches that these tactics exacerbate the situation and are counterproductive in addressing a person in a mental health crisis, and that officers should instead use a calm and non-threatening tone, ask open-ended questions, and avoid confrontational language. U.S. District Court Judge Julie Robinson reviewed the case and agreed with the plaintiff that the suit should be allowed to continue unless a financial settlement is reached between the two sides. A jury trial is scheduled for September 2025. That's later this year. Quote, "These allegations accepted as true state a plausible claim that Officer Thompson recklessly or deliberately brought about the need to use deadly force," writes Judge Thompson. Quote, "Moreover, the officers attempt to use their taser, a means of non-lethal force, while Lynch plainly displayed that he was in a mental health crisis, can also be seen as recklessly or deliberately creating the need to use deadly force," Robinson went on. Robinson stated the reasons she allowed the suit to continue. Therefore, even if the court found that Officer Thompson had the necessary probable cause to believe at the time of the shooting that there was a threat of serious physical harm to himself or others that would justify his use of deadly force, the court would find, under the facts as alleged, that Officer Thompson recklessly or deliberately brought about the need to use deadly force. Robinson goes on, "This is enough to survive a motion to dismiss." So, in other words, survive, it's not getting dismissed. Padilla said the ongoing civil lawsuit and federal judge's opinion were not reasons to avoid hiring Thompson. Quote, the filing of a lawsuit is almost an automatic outcome for an officer-involved shooting incident, regardless of the circumstances of the shooting. That's what Padilla said. He goes on. It would be premature to level judgment on the legitimacy of an officer's actions based on the fact that a lawsuit was filed. Also, no one should be surprised that a judge has denied the dismissal of a lawsuit that involved the death of someone, particularly when it involved police action. Judges are incredibly reluctant to deny a jury trial for these types of incidents, regardless of the merits of the lawsuit, end quote, says Padilla. The suit seeks plaintiff damages from the city of Olathe for pain, suffering, fear, anxiety, emotional distress prior to Lynch's death, physical pain and suffering from the gunshot wounds prior to his death, the knowledge of impending death, the loss of income, filial care, attention, services, guidance, advice, care, and companionship, economic damages, the loss of life, and attorney fees. Quote, this unfortunate event highlights the urgent need for reform in how law enforcement handles interactions with mentally ill individuals. That was according to a news release from Canizaro Marvel Trial Attorneys. That's the Kansas City firm representing his mother of Lynch. And that's when the suit was filed, May of 2024. Now, Judge Robinson also claimed a motion to grant Thompson qualified immunity, which shields public officials from damages unless their conduct was unreasonable in light of clearly established law. Robinson agreed with the plaintiff, that's Varnes, that Thompson used excessive force in violation of Lynch's Fourth Amendment rights, goodbye QI, which prohibits the government from conducting unreasonable searches and seizures. So the shooting. Well, Olathe is a city of about 147,000 in Johnson County, 23 miles from Kansas City. Lynch lived at home with his mother. A younger sister of Lynch called 911 at about 11:10 p.m. on December 31st, 2022, after a physical altercation with Lynch, according to the lawsuit. She told dispatchers about her brother's history of schizophrenia and paranoia and that he was in crises. Her brother's caseworker instructed family members to call 911 during prior occasions. Now, Thompson and other responding officer and another one had previous contact with Lynch and were aware of his behavioral mental health symptoms, according to the lawsuit. So he should have known. Thompson had a physical altercation with Lynch during a previous incident. The officers arrived at the front door of the house at about 11:14 p.m. The sister told them Lynch is in the basement bedroom. The officers told the sister to exit the home, which she did, and to wait outside. The officers entered the home and went downstairs to attempt to communicate with Lynch, who reportedly told them, get out, and repeated that message. Lynch closed his bedroom door, which the officers then opened and reportedly shouted commands at Lynch. He's already in this crisis now. Thompson pulled out a taser and aimed it at Lynch, and 15 seconds later pulled out his firearm. 15 seconds. Officers told him he was under arrest. The officers then started to back down the hallway and go upstairs. It doesn't say he used his taser, though. Lynch followed them upstairs to the living room, holding a pocket knife at his side. Thompson took a position in the front doorway, and the other officer held open a screen door. Lynch began to pace in the living room, about 12 to 15 feet from Officer Thompson. One officer successfully tried to deploy a taser at Lynch, and at about 11:18 p.m., a call went out for more officers to respond. Thompson, with his gun aimed at Lynch, told him to drop the knife he had. At about 11:19, Lynch reportedly took a couple of steps towards Thompson, who fired 3 shots at Lynch. The lawsuit alleges Thompson recklessly created the situation, resulting in use of excessive and deadly force as he continued to shout at, threaten, and agitate Lynch when no one was in danger. He was just pacing with a little pocket knife. At 11:31, Lynch was pronounced dead from his gunshot wounds to his torso. Padilla describes his take about the shooting with the Kent Reporter, where he says, "I'll share what I know and what I think. We don't care what you think, Chief, but I'll read it. What I know about the case is that while any loss of life is tragic and something no officer wants to do, Officer Thompson did everything we would expect him to do." Yes, we would expect him to shout and agitate this guy who's in a mental health crisis. I'm not going to read the rest because I don't care about this police chief. He's a dick. Just from that statement alone, he's a prick. He did everything we would expect him to do. No, he did not. Because no one expects someone to agitate, shout at, and escalate this guy who's in a mental health crisis. People who are in mental health crises, people that are mentally ill, they don't think like you and I. Okay? They don't reason and analyze things like you or I. I'm going to stop it right there, by the way, too. They look at the world through a different lens. They really do. And that's what some officers don't understand. When you get a guy who's mentally ill and you grab his arm, you grab an arm of a normal person who's mentally healthy, he might go, okay, all right. But somebody who's mentally ill that looks at the world through a different lens, you grab him, we're going to town. He's freaking out. He's okay, no touch. Just talk. That's what you should do. But cops don't understand that. Cops understand, obey me or I'm going to grab you. If you fight, I'm going to shoot you. They don't assess the situation. They don't know how to de-escalate, bring it down. They really don't. Even though they're trained that way, I forget my training. I'm out here now, baby. I got a badge and I'm ready to go. And so when this Padilla says he did everything, no, he didn't. I mean, maybe you expected him to do that because you're a police chief. You love ass kickers, baby. Take them to jail. For the rest of society wants police officers that are there to protect and serve, public servants. How can hey, I get it. You're having a mental health crisis right now. You're having a meltdown. How can I serve you? No, that's not what cops think. They think, hey, you're yelling and shouting. You got a knife. I'm taking you to jail, bud. So drop it or I'm shooting you. And now we're stuck with this lawsuit of a cop who left one police department, moved all the way across the U.S. to the West Coast, got hired at another police department. Very interesting how he moved from Kansas to Washington State, far away, and thought, I'm not in Kansas anymore. No, but you might be going back. Take Toto with you.